wonderful time of the year.
Scott, are you ready?
I think so, but is my voice ready?
It's getting there.
Well, I just need 3 or 4 hours to warm up, and I did that with no warm up.
No, okay. If I sang for 3 or 4 hours, I would be literally done talking for the entire week.
With 3 or 4 hours, I'm a natural singer.
It's true.
If that goes together, I don't think it does.
Well, it is the most wonderful time of the year because it's time to watch Christmas movies.
Yay!
And I mean, while I like the Hallmarky type movies, I'll watch 1 or 2 of those when you're not around because I know you don't care about that.
It's kind of the same story over and over, is it not?
Well, kind of, but you still have to watch it.
Okay.
You need closure.
Even though you know what the end's going to be, you still need closure.
Mostly. Sometimes they surprise you.
Okay.
But we like to watch some Christmas movies over and over again occasionally. But what's your favorite Christmas movie?
My favorite Christmas movie? Oh, gosh. I would probably have to go with Elf.
Really?
Because we watch it. It's gotten to where it's a tradition for our family. And it's one of those where you can watch it 100 times and you're still giggling at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I like also older movies like White Christmas. Like I used to watch Holiday Inn with Fred Astaire and Bing Crosby. So I lean toward those 40s and 50s movies.
Were these even in color?
Huh?
Were they in color?
White Christmas was, but Holiday Inn was not. Holiday Inn, other than Elf, might be my favorite.
Wow. I think I did watch that with you 1 year.
Yes, you did. I forced you to watch it. And you loved it, didn't you?
I don't remember.
Okay.
That's
one of the few black and white movies you've ever seen.
One of the very few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we did a survey
but wait,
online.
Don't you know what my favorite Christmas movie is?
You were acting like you were having a difficult decision with this, so I didn't know if you were ready to share.
I'm ready.
Are you ready to share?
I think about it.
Okay.
I mean, Elf, of course, Elf is up there. I actually really like Home Alone. I love Jingle All the Way.
Yeah.
I can giggle at that movie.
That's a pretty funny movie.
The first one, not the second one.
We watched the second one the other day.
It was weird.
Larry the Cable Guy.
I didn't dislike it, but I did laugh out loud at it a couple of times. It's not one I would watch every year, but I was not happy with it. Like it was fine.
It was, we came across it kind of like the year before where we came across Santa Jaws.
That's what I was going to ask you. What was the name of that?
Santa Jaws, which was about, it was Christmas time and the shark was just eating everybody on the pier. But
it had a Santa hat on its fin. So when it came out of the water,
you saw the
Santa hat. Yeah. And at some point, didn't it get wrapped up in like Christmas lights or something?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was kind of like Sharknado meets Christmas.
Right.
Yeah.
Meets Santa Claus is Coming to Town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of Santa Claus is Coming to Town, that's what I was going to say. When I think back to my childhood, I don't think about watching movies. I always look forward to watching the TV shows. Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman.
Yeah.
Like I kind of like those. I don't know if I watch them now and I'm like, that's so lame, but it's also a little nostalgic for me.
Okay, I'm going to see if you know the song. Are you ready? Since you sang at the beginning, I think I am.
Have you sang enough?
No, I haven't.
Warm up.
Just put one foot in front of the other.
Yes, I know that song.
And soon you'll be walking out the door.
Good job.
Thanks. You were supposed to keep going with
it. No, I just wanted to hear you.
You left me hanging. So you kind of give an idea of our favorites. Yeah. And man, I didn't even think about that. All those old TV shows are awesome.
Yeah.
I
like
still.
the TV shows.
Yeah.
So I don't know that. I mean, I still could watch them now, and there's movies I would watch now, but my childhood, I think more of those things.
Yeah. That's very perceptive, Rebecca.
Thanks.
I didn't even think of those shows.
Yep.
So we did an online survey of our followers and friends.
What did those losers say?
Wow. Bah humbug. Well, there's some interesting things that happened here on the survey. Do you want the number one movie?
Sure. What's the number one movie?
The number one movie with 21% of the vote.
21%.
I feel like we're doing, the elections just happened. I feel like we're on news cable station telling you all the latest.
Get to it, are you?
Okay. The number one movie with 21% was Elf.
Yeah, of course.
21% of the vote.
That is like the most. I actually didn't realize that movie had been out as long as it's been out.
2003, I think is what we looked
like
at.
Most of our children's entire lives. So, I mean, especially when we would let them start watching that.
I was like 5 when that came out.
Oh, please. Keep going.
Okay. So number 2 on the list is A Christmas Story.
Don't get it.
You'll shoot your eye out.
Don't get it.
15%.
They're all
so
wrong.
Pretty close to first,
Okay.
not too far off. A lot of people love that movie. Okay, you mentioned Jingle.
You know what I can't
What?
sit through in that movie? I
What is it?
just had a realization.
What?
Such bad parenting. I can't get through the parenting.
Why is the parenting
The
bad?
dad is just rough and absent, and the mom is a pushover, and
Yeah. I think that happens in a lot of families, though. I don't know that it's totally unrealistic. Fragile.
it makes me cringe. Okay.
So, A Christmas Story is not at the top of your list, then. I think it just has some iconic moments that we remember, like sticking the tongue on the
Of
pole,
course.
which you tried when you were a kid.
I did cry that.
How'd that go?
It was terrible,
Yeah.
but my dad was right. I shouldn't have done it, and I had to stand there till my tongue warmed up. That was in Montana. It was cold.
You had to prove your dad wrong, and it didn't work out.
It never works out.
That's true. Even today.
Even today,
Right.
never works out.
Okay, so Elf is number one, A Christmas Story, number two, number three, one you mentioned, Jingle All the Way
Yay!
at 13%, so almost in second place.
I mean, who knew that like a Christmas movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger would be like in the top?
Right.
But it's so good, and his
It's cheesy but good.
goofiness like works it.
Yeah, it's a good cheesy.
Who else could play that role and it'd be like it's funny? Nobody.
Right, exactly.
Nobody.
Okay, speaking of funny, the next one down is Grinch, the live action version with Jim Carrey, with 10% of the vote. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't get this one. Like you didn't get Christmas Story, I don't get Grinch, because to me it was kind of a somber, odd movie to me. And I don't know.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever seen it.
Okay.
Are you gonna tell me I've seen it?
I'm sure you've seen it. I'm sure we went to the theater, but it was apparently forgettable for you. It was forgettable for you.
Yeah, it
so.
was, yeah.
Okay, so along with a lot of these are like comedies, because next on the list with 10%, we had a three-way tie here.
Oh, okay.
A Christmas Vacation, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, where he lights up the whole house and all that. So
also bad parenting movie, can't get into it.
You want some good parenting in
I
here.
need good parenting and some Christmas.
Yeah. It's a Wonderful Life at 10%, which is a classic, one of the classics. I lean
black and white. I've only seen it once.
When you go to the classic movies, I go to more of the musicals and not so much It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
I respect it for what it is, but it's not one of my top favorites.
I feel like he was just kind of whiny.
Wow. Okay. That's good parenting, everybody.
He had bad parenting. I don't know who his parents are, but
so
raised a loser.
Speaking of bad parenting, leaving your kid at home while you fly across the country. Home Alone is at 8% on the list.
Yes.
But you like that one, though.
I like that one because they made a mistake. They don't have long-term bad parenting. Actually, they have.
It was just a moment.
It was a moment. We've all had a moment.
But then they did it again on Home Alone 2.
Well, they should have made Home Alone 2 or 3 or 4 or however many they're on now. But I mean, it was with his family as large as they have. I think that was a mistake. I wouldn't say that like as she like got them together to leave and the way she handled it after she found out she did the best to her ability. So kudos.
Okay. Good parenting in that one. Okay. A White Christmas got 5% of the vote.
Have I seen
which
that?
is kind of on my list. You've seen that one.
Okay.
It's Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye. It's in color. You've seen it.
Okay.
You've had to see it.
It didn't stick with me.
And then at 5% with White Christmas, we have the Santa Claus, which is a cute movie.
It's cute.
With Tim Allen. They just debuted a series that's happening right now. And with 3% to round out our top 10 is Polar Express.
I like the Polar Express.
It's a pretty cute movie.
There's just
not the greatest animation in the world, but
really
not in my opinion.
Well, that's your lane.
Yeah,
my lane's parenting.
But I still think it's a cute movie.
Yeah, I don't know. There's parts of the Polar Express that just like come to a screeching halt to me, like when the little girl gets up on the roof of the train and starts trekking through the snow, and I just kind of want to take a little nap there. And then also there's a time when they get to like that final factory situation where who is it? Aerosmith is singing like something, and I'm just
rocking around the Christmas tree or something.
Like, I don't know. There's some parts of that whole scene area that I'm just like, okay.
You didn't buy the Rockin' Elf?
No, I would just rather listen to Tom Hanks sing the Hot Chocolate Song.
Yeah, that's a great scene right there.
That is a great scene.
Okay, so we've talked about some classics.
Yes.
But we are here to talk about a new classic.
Yeah,
today.
look at our shirts.
That's right. Put a little jingle
in
your jangle.
It's
So what movie are we talking about, Rebecca?
Jingle Jangle.
Jingle Jangle. It's awesome.
It's on Netflix.
Yes.
And you have to watch it this holiday season.
Like right tonight.
Right tonight?
Yes.
Is that a
I don't know. I just started a Christmas song, I think. I'm writing a Christmas song as we go.
Well, you're going to watch it and you're going to fall in love with it. Let me tell you, the same choreographer that did The Greatest Showman did this movie. And from the get-go, I was like, the choreography in this movie is incredible.
Right.
It is so good. And the actors, oh, so adorable. You have to watch it now. It will become one of your favorites.
It's become our family watches it every Christmas now, at least once.
Fresh. I love it. It's like there's a freshness to it.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for your new favorite holiday movie, you're gonna want to watch Jingle Jingle tonight. But listen, right now we have on LISA DAVINA PHILLIP. She is coming to us from England.
Yes, she is across the pond.
And she plays Miss Johnston in the movie, which you won't be able to miss her. She's phenomenal.
That's right.
She is phenomenal. She steals the show, and we are so blessed to have her on our show today.
Good morning, Jerry.
You have something for me today, Mrs. Johnston?
It's Ms. I'm widowed, remember? He's dead. Gone. Never coming back. A gift. Knowing what's inside.
Got it. Mrs. Johnston.
Veronicus, I know about losing things. But the magic isn't just in what you've lost. It's in what you still have.
Okay, Lisa, thank you for meeting with Hardie Party of 5.5 today. We're so excited to have you on. I cannot wait to talk to you. I'm not kidding. I watched Jingle Jangle for the first time, I guess last year. And I mean, immediately gathered the family and said, watching it again.
Oh, wow.
It is so good. So good. So good. Choreography in it is amazing. And you are incredible in that show.
Oh, bless you.
The whole time I'm like, this is a role I want to play. Like, you're just fantastic.
Brilliant.
So we've been talking about like our favorite Christmas movies. And so aside from Jingle Jangle, like what is one of your favorite Christmas movies?
I have quite a few, actually. I like funny family movies. So I love Elf.
Oh, yeah.
I could watch Elf on repeat. Like my favorite scene is when and he gets so excited.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just hilarious. I love Dr. Seuss, The Grinch Stole Christmas. Again, similarly, because Jim Carrey is he's just got funny bones. He's just totally amazing. And then I also love Home Alone, because I kind of grew up on Home Alone. The first Home Alone, though, not the whole franchise that followed afterwards. It kind of lost its trail, I think. But I just love the idea of the mischievousness of, covering someone in glue and then feathering them and like throwing like marbles on the floor for them to trip. I mean, I never tried those things, but I could live vicariously through Macaulay Culkin. And it was, so I like fun family films that I can watch sort of with my daughter, and she loves them too. So that's
also
nice.
you have a daughter.
Yeah, that. Yes.
Yeah, we have boys, so we're very familiar with all those tricks.
Oh yeah. They try them out. Yeah, they.
Oh my gosh.
Sure.
No big deal. But we were talking about Home Alone because somebody was saying that don't really feel like that's a real Christmas movie. I guess it doesn't reference Christmas enough.
But it's at Christmas time.
But since it's at Christmas time, I don't know. I'm with you. I think it's a Christmas movie.
Definitely.
I think so.
Much more than Die Hard. We could go down that trail, but
much more, definitely.
Music. Okay, so when did you know that you wanted to be a performer, and how did you make that dream a reality?
Okay, so I knew I wanted to act probably from about the age of 12. So when I was growing up, so I was growing up in the 80s. I don't want to say too much because I'm going to actually give away my age. So when I was
Sometime in
growing
the
up in
past.
the 80s, it sounds so far away, doesn't it? The 80s. Anyway, there wasn't that much representation on TV in terms of seeing Black faces. So there were two programs that came on when I was about 10, well, my kind of early teens. The first program was called Desmond's, and it was set in a barber shop. It was a Guyanese family set in a barber shop in Peckham, Southeast London. And it starred Norman Beaton, who was a complete trailblazer for Black actors. And the second program was a sketch show called The Real McCoy. And that also had an ensemble Black actors sort of in it. And it was like the first time I saw myself on TV, like really saw myself. Like I'm a staunch believer in representation matters. So I saw that these people are doing it, so maybe I could do it as well. You know, it was a big deal for me. And they were also, some of the actors were local. So I went to, when I was about 11, I went to a local fair in the park. It's one of those fairs where they have stalls that sell trinkets, and they might have a little stage area set up for people to perform on, and there might be a fairground rides and things. It was one of those things. And one of the actors from The Real McCoy was giving out flyers on the stall. She's no longer with us, but her name was Colette Johnson. And the two girls that I was with, we were just like floored in awe, like, oh my God, this famous lady is here in the park. Let's go say hello. And none of us wanted to go up to her and say hello. So we went as a three. I think it was arm in arm because we just weren't brave enough. And she gave me this flyer for a drama group called Second Wave. It was called Second Wave Youth Arts, and it was in Deptford, Southeast London. And I joined, I auditioned. I was on the waiting list for 6 months, and then I joined. And I was with Second Wave from about the age of 12 to 18. I then went to university and did a degree in drama, media, and popular culture. That was more to please my mum and dad because they wanted me to have a degree. So I thought, well, if I have a degree in drama, then at least I'm doing what I like, but getting what they want.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
And then when I left university, I thought, I'm an actor. But I so wasn't. Like, I wasn't prepared. I didn't have, you know, the standard actor kit, like the photos, the 10x8s. I didn't have a voice reel or a show reel. I didn't have an agent. I had nothing. So I soon realized that I'm not an actor. And I thought I'm just gonna work in a theatre instead. So I worked as the house manager at a theatre. And I was there a year. It was fine. And I wasn't happy there because I knew that I really wanted to act.
Yeah.
And my role at the theatre was to lock up the stage at the end of the night, to put the padlocks on, and to stock up the bar and write rotas for the staff. So at my kind of yearly review, I went into the office and sort of said, I'd love to stay another year. And the whole idea was for me to save up to go to drama school. So if I stayed another year. But they pulled the rug from under me because they said that they don't think I quite fit and they're going to have to let me go.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
But I mean, I didn't say that to them. I was just really cool in front of them. But when I went to the office downstairs, I was bawling. Oh, what am I going to do? But as fate would have it, I got a scholarship to go to drama school. So I didn't even have to worry about fees. So I had a journey from just liking it and doing it kind of socially as a hobby right through to going to drama school. And the drama school thing was more so that I could feel that I had some grounding because I had the kind of natural talent, but I kind of lacked the finesse. And I think that's what drama school gave me, that little tick.
Yeah. So your daughter's 12 years old. What if she came home with a flyer that said, hey, drama school or what theater school or what the first thing you started with? How would you feel about that?
Do you know what's funny? She is an actress.
Oh,
she's been acting professionally since she was 9.
Okay.
She's been on,
yeah, she's in.
She's been on BBC. She's been on Netflix. She has a short film coming out early in the year. And people say, oh, you know, we knew she'd be an actress. I'm glad you knew because I didn't know. I genuinely, it wasn't that I was trying to push her away from it.
Yeah.
But she's seen that I struggle. you know, there are times when I'm working and it's great, and you get a film like Jingle Jangle and it's fantastic, and you feel like you're at the top of the mountain. But there are other times when you're literally at the bottom trying to get a foot up and you keep slipping, and you have to find a way emotionally and kind of mentally to balance that. So yeah, she acts already, but she says she wants to be a midwife. She wants to be an architect and an interior designer. So I'm like, you can do whatever. She's 12. You can be whatever.
Busy.
Yeah.
She is.
And the great thing is that she has you, you're a few steps ahead of her to guide her, you know, and what you're just talking about, the ins and outs of the emotional roller coaster that it is. And
Absolutely.
like, she's a teenager, so she's going to need that wisdom from you.
She is also way more savvy than I am, maybe because she has me, that I think maybe I dreamed of being an actor and saw the kind of, oh, it's going to be so wonderful, and she sees the kind of right, and she knows the reality of it. But she's brilliant at, like, if I have to do a self-tape to audition for a job, she will hold the camera for me and feed me my lines, or she'll even direct me and say, I should say it like that, Mum. And but sometimes she's right.
Yeah, that's so cool.
She gives you notes.
Yeah.
Like she has a real, like, I trained for this, but she hasn't trained. She just has this thing, this gift naturally that I admire so much. But yeah, it's brilliant.
Okay.
I love that.
So you were a stage actress for a long time before you hit the movies. So once you hit the movies, how did you consciously have to change how you're acting from the stage to the screen?
My short answer for that would be absolutely. So, like, my first job out of drama school I did was The Lion King. And I loved that job. I was a swing, so that meant I wasn't on stage every night, but I would have to be in show underwear and makeup. And if anything happened throughout the show, that was my job to run on and cover 4 of the ensemble girls, Rafiki and Shenzi. So I had a Bible that was literally it was like 10 bricks thick of where I had to stand on stage, where I had to enter, what costume I had to put in, where I had to exit. It was there were tears when I was rehearsing, going, I will never remember this. But it was sort of a fire, it was baptism by fire. You know, it really taught me how hard working in a musical is, 8 shows a week. But it also made me see the beauty of it, because I wasn't on stage every night. I was able to appreciate the show. So I would sit in the little box at the side and look at the audience instead of looking at the stage, because you would see people's faces light up. So I don't know if you've seen The Lion King, but the opening scene is all the animals come down the aisle and come onto the stage, and you can see an elephant and a giraffe on stilts, and it is just awe-inspiring. And it filled me, it made me pinch myself and go, I'm really lucky. So I was able to do some really lovely musical theatre bits. I was also in Matilda. I played Mrs. Phelps in Matilda. I played one of Oda Mae's sisters in Ghost. I did Amen Corner. I've done Porgy and Bess. I've also done a few other plays as we've gone along. But the transfer to TV was, so it's a completely different kind of way of acting. So on stage you have to be big, because you have to play to the people right at the back, and then on TV it's completely different. It's so minuscule. It's like you feel like you're not doing anything. Like just raising your eyebrow means so much, whereas on stage, just raising my eyebrow might not read unless you're in the first 3 rows. So it meant that I had to pull everything back and be smaller. And I'm quite an animated person, so that's quite. I speak a lot with my hands and stuff. So
I hadn't noticed.
So that was quite. It's been quite a challenge for me. The first kind of TV stuff I did, I was in a program called The Royal Today, where I played a nurse, and I had to film a scene where. So the main character, he's down on one knee and he's proposing to his girlfriend. And they just did a kind of shot where the rest of the staff are in the room and we're reacting to him proposing to his girlfriend. And I was giving it, I'm on stage going, oh, isn't that wonderful, great, fantastic, oh, it's lovely. Well, I should have just been complete. But the thing is, no one told me I was doing that. It wasn't until I saw it that I went, oh. So on stage, we would call that drawing focus. Like you're taking attention away from what's going on and making it about you. But I wasn't aware that that's what I was doing,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
because that's how I had been trained.
Yeah.
So I'm glad no one watches the world today now, because it's quite embarrassing. But yeah, so being on TV, I would say so naturalistic and
Yeah.
maybe even a little bit quiet. Sometimes, like, I have to turn up the TV when I'm watching programs, because I find that the actors speak really quietly. Whereas on stage, it's all about projection and
Yeah.
giving it from the diaphragm. And so it's fun, but it's very different. And the only how you can learn it is by doing it. You
Yeah.
can't tell somebody. I think I had to go through that and see myself looking like an idiot on the screen to make myself realize, nah, you can't do that again.
That's funny. I think that Miss Johnson actually kind of encapsulates both of those. There's plenty of times that she's obviously big and gregarious, and then there's times that she's just so, like, you know, sly and like the cute little playful things that she does. I think it's like a perfect blend of you.
Oh, bless you.
And so, speaking of Miss Johnson, that was your first major movie role in Jingle Jangle. So tell us, how did you feel when you got that part?
Oh my God. There's a video. David he's a very naughty.
You
Oh, yeah,
sent
we're
us
gonna-
the video.
we're gonna show that video.
Drop it in.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here in the studio in London with, of course, all of our music team, all these amazing Davey Nathan, young Harvey Mason, look, Thriller, Mike Jackson in the back, Lynn Talbot and Chloe. And we have here a young lady who has LISA DAVINA. What do you think of that song?
The song is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, what do you think of the musical you've been reading with?
It's phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
It's just, it's almost otherworldly.
Yeah.
It's definitely blessed by the ancestors.
Yeah. What if I told you that we're going to cast you as a role of Miss Johnson? And that you're going to be starring opposite Forrest Whitaker, Felicia Rashad, Keegan Michael Key. Yeah, Anika Noni Rose. That you're going to be joining the cast of Jingle Jangle. Ladies and gentlemen.
So I went to the recording studio to just play around with Miles and Miles. And then he called me into the room, and everybody's in there.
Yeah.
So, and he's also got his phone on me, and he's recording. And I wasn't expecting this. I was just going to go in to say hi, and then go to the next room. And he kind of reels me in. Says, "Oh, what did you think of the song that you've just heard?" And I'm like on the spot going, it's a song. And then he's like, "And how would you feel if I told you got Miss Johnson?" And I lost it. I'm clapping like a seal. I'm jumping. I'm screaming. Like sometimes when people put a phone on you, you kind of have a persona.
Right.
That persona was completely gone. It was literally me, like a child, like a child, just clapping and screaming and hugging David and going, no way. It was wonderful. It was a complete surprise, because I know that David had my back. He really wanted me for this part, but I wasn't 100% sure that Netflix execs and things were happy. So I always felt like I was on tender hooks, because I know they were looking for an Aretha Franklin kind of voice. And I can sing, I've done musicals, but I can't sing like Aretha. So I don't think very many people can
Nobody
sing.
can.
So I mean,
Marisha
Marisha Wallace, who sang Miles and Miles, has done an incredible job, because it's a fantastic song. It's really catchy, and I love dancing to it. But I had to master lip syncing, which I still think doesn't look particularly great. But again, it's one of those things. If you've never done something before, you kind of have to try it and then learn from it. So if ever I was put in that situation again, hey, maybe I'd do it better,
Yeah.
But it was an incredible experience. But I still am in shock when I watch that movie and say, that's me. That's me right there. I did that.
Yeah.
And because honestly, I can't even speak now. I still watch it. Go, oh my God, because it's a film that I would watch. So I think that's what makes me appreciate it. Or it's a film that I would recommend to friends and go, oh, you have to see this film for Christmas. It's fantastic. But I'm saying that, and I'm in it.
Yeah.
Complete joy. Complete joy.
Yes.
So in general, are you okay watching yourself? Because I've heard some actors say I never watch myself, and some like to watch it to see what I can do better. How do you feel watching yourself?
I like to watch myself to see how
Yeah,
I can improve.
yeah,
Yeah. Um, you know, and I might watch myself and go, why did I do that? Or why did I use that take? The second take was so much better. You know, it's like, but I mean, you can't see the overall picture of what, you know, you're the director or what people are putting together. So you have to trust that they know what they're doing. But I
Yeah.
do like to watch myself because I think it's a great learning curve.
Oof, I do not like to even watch these videos
Oh
right
yeah.
here of us. No, not even. Here's the
No.
difference. We're not getting paid for this. That's the difference.
But I do think it's kind of like being a
It's
baseball.
not a job, full-time job.
It's like being an athlete. They watch video to see how they can do it better
Yeah.
next time.
So
Right.
That makes sense to me.
Yes.
If
I
I,
think I need to watch this more.
if I were an actor, I'd want to watch it again. Like to see.
Yeah.
I think I could take myself out and go, okay, that's not really me. I'm just seeing what this actor's doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Mhm.
speaking of David E. Talbert, he said in an interview that Mrs. Johnston was the heart of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
So for you personally, how would you describe Mrs. Johnston, and what did that character mean to you?
I mean, I love David E. Talbot. He's just a wonderful, wonderful man. And for him to say that, it means a lot. And he did tell me when we were filming that Miss Johnson was his favorite character. Oh, that's so sweet. But then there was also more pressure because then I have to do her justice to live up to the character that he's had in his head.
Oh
Because
yeah.
I mean, he worked on Jingle Jangle for 22 years before it finally got made, you know, putting
Wow.
it down and going back to it and putting it. So he must have known all the characters inside out.
Right.
So then to try and breathe life into it, there was a little bit of pressure, but he's so lovely and warm. It was not easy, but he didn't make it difficult for me. I think he's right in the sense that Miss Johnson brings a kind of a warmth and a wholeness. She's the type of person that she sort of she brings this kind of joy and happiness. Not that, you know, everything in the world is good, but she sees good in everything.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, I think she brings a kind of experience. We don't have sort of see much of her backstory, but from my own research, I thought maybe she's been married before, maybe she's widowed and lost her husband, so she understands what Veronicus is going through. I think she also represents a kind of forgiveness, like a forgiveness of yourself and for other people. Because I mean, in the story, Veronicus has a strained relationship with his daughter, and she has to forgive him for being let down, and he has to forgive himself for giving up on his dreams. So I think Miss Johnson gives him the space to kind of sigh and to breathe and to start again. She offers a kind of hope for a new beginning.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
And her perfectly placed hat and her perfectly starched outfit. She's
Thank
so
you to
adorable.
costume.
She's so incredibly adorable.
She
So
is.
on set, like I love the choreography. I just was eating the choreography up. And Scott had mentioned to me that the same person that did The Greatest Showman did that choreography. And it is
Yes.
so fantastic, including even your scene, you know, where you're dancing around the store and all of that. It's just so good. So how did it feel on set? Like you've got all these moving parts. Was it as magical as I want it to be in my mind?
No, there was a lot of sweat, blood, and tears. So I what was lovely was that I'd worked with, so Ashley Wallen was choreographer and his assistant Jen, and I had worked with them previously on Ghost because they were the choreography team on Ghost. So I was aware of how they worked. I won't say military like, but you know, you have to get on with it. Okay, do it again.
Yeah.
Okay, yep, do that again. So, I mean, even when we were filming in between takes, I mean, I have a corset on as well. And I think it was 5 layers of clothes.
Oh my word.
So I was sweltering.
Oh my
and we filmed like in summer. Yes, there's snow on the ground, but we filmed between like May and August. So it's hot and there's light. So in between, the makeup ladies will be patting me down and reapplying the makeup. So I mean, there was lots of wonderful moments. What was funny was, so Veronica didn't have to do anything. So Forrest was kind of laughing in that, you know, he just has to walk around,
Right.
you know, while
Or stand behind
Miss
the desk,
Johnson
yeah.
spins and turns and
Mhm.
tries to get his attention and preens, and she's sort of willing for him to just look at her, and he's just so disinterested. So that was fun because we sort of likened it to, I don't know if you remember a cartoon called Pepe Le Pew.
Uh-huh.
Oh
Where
yeah.
there's a little skunk who's chasing
Yes.
the cat, and I felt like the skunk that was constantly trying to get this cat's attention. So it's a wonderful scene. I had to marry up the lip syncing with the moving,
Mhm.
and with filming you have to be able to bring it for every single take. Even
Yeah.
if you're tired, you have to be able to go for it. There's one there's one moment where I have to land really sexily on the chaise longue, and then the backing dancers pop their heads out at the back.
Yes.
And on one take, I landed, but I completely ricocheted off the chaise longue and onto the floor, spread eagle. I was so embarrassed. I didn't move. I just froze because I didn't know what to do. I think they thought I was dead. And then I looked up and they all burst out laughing.
Oh,
And
man.
David was like, "That's going in the outtakes." I was like, great.
That is hilarious. This is weird. I do choreography for our Christmas gala at our church every year. Every year it's usually like teenagers and above. And this year I have preschoolers, and no, they're not cute. It's awful. I would
Like one's going to be turned with their back to the audience, the other one's
Right.
picking their nose.
They're gonna do whatever they want to
It's
do.
so bad. I would rather deal with 100 teenage girls than these children. I mean, I don't even know how those people do that all day long.
It's so cute though, like the little videos that will come out of that are just
I
gonna be
know.
adorable.
I have them putting on Santa beards at one point, and they're all like, they're like spitting fur out everywhere. It's like a mess.
Oh,
Not,
brilliant.
not as cute as I wanted it to be. So, and do you have any other like memorable moments that you remember on set that were interesting or fun?
So I had to sing the Miles and Miles and Freeze, and I didn't know I was going to sing it. I just assumed I would just lip sync for everything. So this is the bit that comes after Veronica says, "Kiss Miss Johnson on the cheek." She's sitting in the van and she goes, "Meow," and she just drives away with this. She's so excited now. She's got her man. And so David said, "I want you to sing that live." I was like, "Okay."
Okay.
You know, maybe he didn't tell me because he knew I would have panicked.
Yes.
So I hadn't practiced it, but clearly nobody else knew that that's what we were going to do, because he was like, "Roll sound," and nothing happened because nobody had been queued up. The music wasn't in the right place. So like filming, time is money. And it felt like this eternity waiting for the music to start. And I'm getting more and more panicky. And there's the kind of deathly silence. Now on set, there's literally about 100 people, because there's costumes, there's wigs, there's makeup, there's sound, there's lighting, there's all the people around the back on computers. I don't know what they're doing, but they're typing frantically. And it's now silent because the music isn't playing.
And is Forrest staring at you?
Forrest is next to me in standing outside of the van. His little hand comes through the window of the van and honks the horn. And literally, everybody just burst out. He literally, you know, like when the ice breaks, because it felt like everything was getting so tense. But that horn, just the echo of it around the room, just made everybody burst into tears. And then I was like, "It wasn't me. It was him. It was him." It was just like, so that was lovely, because there's a real playful side to Forrest.
Yeah.
Like, I think my impressions before I met him was that serious actor.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I have to watch how I speak around him, but he's just really playful, especially around the children, especially around like Madeline and Kieran. He was just really warm and bubbly and silly and funny, and making everybody, he has a knack of making people feel at ease. You know, he didn't, there was no bravado, there was no, he was humble and sweet. You wouldn't like, he spoke really softly.
Yeah.
Like I would have to crane my neck to hear what he was saying because he was so gentle. And like you wouldn't know he was in a room. Like when Keenan was in the room, you knew he was there because
Oh yeah,
he's
Keenan's everywhere.
lively.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he takes over and he's laughing but Forrest could walk into the room and you wouldn't know he was there because
Yeah.
he'd go
Wow.
quiet and he just sits down and he
Yeah.
just, and not to say one is better than the other, it's just
Just
two
different
completely
personalities.
different.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. How is it your first movie you're working with Forrest Whitaker? I mean, like a legendary actor. How blessed did you feel about that?
I I don't know what David saw. I still don't know what David saw in me
Yeah.
because that role was really highly sought. No, but I feel like little old me from Southeast London. I don't, and I know that there were Hollywood actresses that wanted this role. So he clearly he saw something in me, and I feel forever indebted to him for just giving me this opportunity, because sometimes that's all it takes for somebody to have faith in you and to believe in you, and then you push yourself to live up to that expectation, and I think that's what he did for me. He allowed me to shine, which is lovely, and I loved it. And people say, is there going to be a Jingle Jangle 2? I mean, it took 22 years to get the first one here, so I don't know. I think there's also been talk of putting on Broadway, so that may be another way to transfer it onto the stage. Might be the next natural step.
Yeah,
it's really a magical movie, and you say humbly, you say, "Oh, I can't believe I'm in this movie," but I can't imagine anyone else playing your role. And that's when you know you've nailed it, is you just can't imagine anyone else.
Yeah,
If anyone else did it, you'd be like, "Oh, that's not her." That's
she
not
said
Lisa.
Hollywood people wanted. I was like, who could do that?
You can do what Lisa does.
I'll tell you one name. I think Queen Latifah wanted it.
Oh,
really?
yeah. I'm
Yeah.
a huge Queen Latifah fan.
There you go. There
I
you
literally
go.
got dressed yesterday and I said to Scott, does this look like something Queen Latifah would wear?
Like on the Equalizer?
On the Equalizer.
Yeah.
I love her.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah,
But-
so like when I think about that, it makes me go, wow, I did that.
Yeah.
But I think that won't sink in for maybe years to come. Maybe then
Yeah.
I'll be able to feel more comfortable in that position.
Right.
But at the moment, it still feels new. I mean, we're 2-3 years on, but it still feels fresh. It still feels new.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about Miles and Miles just for a second there. The physicality of that, like you're talking about lip syncing, which to me seems harder than actually singing. When you've got to think about, okay, what are the words and all that.
Yeah.
But I read where David was talking about that a gospel singer was actually an inspiration to how you were moving in that scene. Like he mentioned this gospel singer. He told you to throw your back, like when you
I did throw my back
there and you're just growling.
I did I don't know how I did that back, but I must have been channeling her, because when I look back, I'm like, what? I mean, I guess when you're in it, you just put yourself in it. You do everything. Sometimes it's not like, I wouldn't say it's an out of body experience, because I am still there. I am still kind of present. But it's like you throw yourself into something, don't you? You push the boundaries, and you do things that Lisa wouldn't do, but Miss Johnson would do that. So I think it allows room for that. But the dance, I mean, I've done musicals, so I know that I can move. I know that I can dance. And then with the song being as funky as it was, I think the music dictated the moves. Yeah. So that's it felt good. It felt good.
Then you had the pips there to back it up.
Yes, I did. I had my little backing band. That was fantastic.
I love their outfits too. They had the best costumes.
Oh, the costumes were amazing. That was done by Michael. Oh, I can't remember his surname, but he's incredible because he was able to mix that kind of theme punk with kind of an Afro chic. There was lots of African prints in there, and even the hair. There was, there were afros, and there were African hairstyles, like texture. There was texture. There wasn't kind of a weave in sight kind of thing. So it celebrated Blackness as being good and positive and strong. Even just having a Black inventor,
Yeah.
I've always thought that is incredible. Like, because growing up as a kid, you know, I loved Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Those were the films that I loved as a child growing up. But again, I wasn't there. I
Yeah.
appreciate
Right.
it for being a good film with great costumes and dancing and singing, Dick Van Dyke, and it's brilliant. But there wasn't anybody that looked like me, and I think that's
Mhm.
what David has offered. He's put something on the plate which is just as high a caliber,
Yeah.
and there's this wealth of Black talent from both sides of the Atlantic as well, which I
Yeah.
think is lovely.
Yeah.
To give younger children, and I've had friends send me videos of their little sisters or cousins or nieces dancing to Miles and Miles.
Aw.
So
How
they've
amazing is that?
filmed them.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, because it's like what I said, when you see yourself, representation matters, and when you see yourself, you know that you can do that. So
Mm.
it feels wonderful to know that there might be a little girl or boy out there
Mhm.
who I've inspired,
Yeah.
who might think, oh, I can do this too.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
that feels that touches my heart. That makes me
Yeah.
feel incredible.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's amazing. And you speak of the African elements, that the snowball scene where that's when to me, that's when the character's starting to like let go of things and
Yeah.
come back to life. But the African drums and music, they mixed in with the Christmassy music.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah, yeah,
love
yeah, yeah.
that scene. Like you can just
I
dance
love that
to that scene.
too. And I
Yeah.
was asking David, can I be in that scene? That
Yeah.
was the one scene.
Can I help him
Yeah,
out?
Yeah.
absolutely. I could have just been in a window somewhere, just throwing a silver. I
Like,
I
yeah.
wasn't part of that scene, but that was incredible. That looks amazing to film.
Come and play with you? Sure, come on. Let's get him. Let's make some snowballs.
Allez, transpire, 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 les mains en l'air, allez, transpire.
I loved everything. I mean, to me, the film has, you know, a great soundtrack. It's
Mhm.
got this kind of CGI stuff.
Mhm.
It's got the animation in it as well. Sometimes it goes into that storytelling kind of clay animation.
Oh, which is brilliant. Yeah.
Yes, obviously the costumes are great. And just the caliber of actors that they got together were great. I mean, it was kind of Madeline's first big movie, and she's done so much more since Tiger Rising and a few other things that she's done. So it's allowed people to grow, you
Yeah.
know, to use that film and to kind of as a springboard into other things and to other avenues. And I think that's really lovely. I think the legacy of Jingle Jangle and the family that we created, I'm gonna get emotional.
Well, I am too.
It was because it was especially because I don't have that much experience of being on the film set, so I just took for granted that this is what it's like.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. It was beautiful to me. It was nice having David and Lynn work together, husband and wife team, because their love and how they responded, and like the two of you, how you talk to each other and respond to each other. It's beautiful to see, you know, that
Yeah.
you can live and work together and do all these amazing other things. It's inspiring. It's like couple goals, you know. It's like, you know, it's nice. But I mean, David and Lynn worked so well together, and there were so many little things that they paid homage to. I think one of the hairstyles, I think Toni Morrison is one of Lynn's favorite writers. One of the hairstyles was a Toni Morrison hairstyle. Lynn's father, I think it was either the first doctor or the first dentist, black dentist in their area. So they dedicated one of the shop fronts was called the Sisson Arms. So it was named in honor of her father.
Oh, wow.
I mean, there's a few other gyms. There was a nod to Chadwick Boseman and Black Panther on Jeronicus's briefcase that he travels around the world with. One of the stickers, I think, might have said Wakanda on it.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there are so many little things,
wow.
so many little gems
Yeah.
that I feel proud of. I feel like, wow, amazing.
Yeah.
David is an incredible storyteller. He has a lot of vision, and there's a real childlike nature about him.
Mhm.
And I think it's probably something we should all strive to be as children. I
Mhm.
watched a little girl. Sorry, I can ramble. Shut me up.
No,
If you,
go ahead.
I was standing on the balcony, and I saw a little girl walking with her dad. She must have been about 2 or 3, and it'd been raining the night before, so there were huge puddles on the floor. She had wellies on, but her dad had flip-flops. And anyway, they were walking, and as they were walking, a truck or a car went past and splashed the puddles, and her whole world lit up. She was like, and her dad, who was on his phone texting, stopped what he was doing, noticed that she was excited, and stopped. He put his phone away, and for the next 10 minutes, they just watched cars going through the puddles. And
Oh,
then she stepped off the curb and stepped in the puddles, and she said to her dad, "Are you going to come in?" He said, "I can't, I've got flip-flops, but you can go." And she was just so happy that she could walk in a puddle. Like, if, as adults, we can get a bit downtrodden with
Mhm.
life. And I found that having my daughter enabled me to remember what it was like when I was a kid, because you forget. And she used to say, "It's the best day ever," every day. It stopped now. She's 12 now, and she's on her phone, and she's a bit nonchalant at the moment.
Yeah.
But when she was really young, every day was the best day ever. And I think that's what David brings to this film, that
Mm.
it's this excitement, this childlike curiosity. It's the best day ever. It's amazing. And it was infectious.
Yeah.
When you have a person at the top, the leader, the director, who has that energy, it trickles down into every
Mhm.
Yeah, and you can,
department, and everybody just pulls together and wants to do their
Yeah.
best.
and that's it. And I feel that when I'm watching the movie, like it's one of the movies that we're gonna watch every Christmas.
Mhm.
And you get that
Yay.
feeling
At
of
least
that,
once.
just that excitement, at least
Mhm.
once.
If not
We
more.
watched it
Yeah.
like Tuesday, and we're gonna watch it again. It's become
Brilliant.
that iconic movie that you're gonna watch with your family every year, and that's just awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yesterday at Thanksgiving, I showed my mom a little snippet of
Yeah.
your one of your big scenes, and I was like, "This is who we're talking to tomorrow."
Oh my God. Yeah, but it's so weird for me, because it's like I'm still me, nothing's changed. And
Yeah.
yes, Forrest Whitaker kissed me on the cheek. And like, I didn't want to wash my cheek. If I'm being honest, I didn't. But like, nothing's changed. It's still, I'm
Yeah.
still the same. And and I love doing these things where I can talk to people and find out how much they
Yeah.
enjoyed the film. And even because it's all a learning curve as well for me, to see what I can do better, and
Yeah.
what read and what didn't read, and what, just incredible. So
Right.
thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
Yes. What's next for you? Can you tell us what's on your plate next?
I don't know. So I just filmed something last week for a British daytime soap. It's like a hospital drama. So I think that's coming out in February, but I was just on as a guest artist.
Okay. Yeah.
So I filmed that. As I said, my daughter's doing some voiceover work for some children's animation
Mhm.
called Brave Bunnies, which is like a preschool thing. So I get to chaperone.
Yeah.
My many hats. When you're a parent, you have many things that you do.
Many hats.
And she also has a short film coming out soon. So between the two of us, we're really busy.
Yeah,
But
you're-
again, life goes up and down. I've done 2 Christmas films now. I did a Black British Christmas film the year before last, called Boxing Day,
boxing.
with a melamine. But as you said about Home Alone, it was set around Christmas time. It wasn't necessarily a Christmas movie. It was
Yeah.
more like that. But it
Yeah.
was wonderful. It felt great to be in a British Black Christmas film, because like the Black British culture is unique in itself.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I remember at school when we learnt about history, we learnt a lot about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King and the civil rights movements. But actually in Britain, we had our own civil rights movement. We had
Mhm.
the Bristol bus boycotts, where they weren't giving Black men jobs on buses as conductors. So they boycotted on the buses over here too. But we don't find out about those things.
Right.
So it was nice to be in a Black British movie that celebrated the culture from our perspective.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned your daughter Maya, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she's a sickle cell warrior. So
Yes.
tell us more about her and just how she inspires you, and then how we could help in that cause.
Mhm.
Oh, so but for anybody that doesn't know, briefly, sickle cell is a hereditary blood disorder. You need to get it from both parents. So I carry it, but I don't suffer from it.
Mhm.
The symptoms are pain and tiredness, and it's caused by the red blood cells. Instead of them being round and spongy and soft, instead they're more like a crescent moon or a sickle, hence it being called sickle cell. And they get trapped and blocked in the veins. And where they get trapped and blocked, it can cause a swelling and it can cause pain. But because the blood is everywhere in your body, depending on where you get this blockage, it can be something severe. For example, if you've got a blockage on your brain, it could cause a stroke.
Yeah.
Or just if you've got a blockage in your wrist, it might mean your wrist is a bit painful. But so it's the only known cure is a bone marrow transplant, but it's only really offered in very severe cases. So the treatment my daughter has is she takes daily medication. She's got to drink lots of water and eat a healthy, balanced diet. She's on a lot of pain meds. And she just has to kind of not overdo things. If she gets too overexcited or too tired, it could trigger things. So it's also about finding out what your triggers are and just learning to avoid them. What's inspiring about her? Um, she's she doesn't complain. She she doesn't allow her condition to define her. She just kind of gets on with it. So at the moment, my car's in the garage. I normally pick her up and drop her to school, but we're having to walk. Um, and her school's on a hill. So it can take a little while to get to school because she needs to rest along the way, but she just gets on with it.
Yeah.
You know, she's just she's a wonderful spirit. She has a wonderful soul. She's kind, she's sweet, she's caring, she's considerate. She's also she also spreads awareness about sickle cell. So when she was about 7, she asked me, why did God give me sickle cell?
Mhm.
And I don't know if I was even ready to answer that question, because I feel guilty that she has sickle cell because it's hereditary. She got it from me. And it's my own personal journey struggling with, this is what I've done to my child, and seeing her in pain, or seeing her in hospital for weeks at a time, or seeing her have a blood transfusion, or, so I have to deal with a lot. But I said to her, maybe God is giving you this for you to share your journey with others. And maybe by telling people what you're going through, you're going to be helping them so they don't feel alone. And that just opened up her world. Then we met other sickle cell warriors. And I mean, many older warriors say that, life is so much different now. You get the help that you need. So my daughter has psychotherapy to help with her pain management, which wasn't offered in the 70s or the 80s. It was kind of just looked over. So there's a lot more help and a lot more understanding now than there was. It could still be a bit better. It could still be a bit better. There have been terrible horror stories in the NHS where doctors don't tend to believe patients who look like me when we say we're in pain. They think you're just after the drugs.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there have been some terrible stories, but I guess the more we highlight the stories, the more there'll be a change. In terms of what people can do, if you can give blood and you want to give blood, you can do that. One donation of blood helps up to 3 adults. It's more if it's children. You can help raise awareness. You can help raise money for charity. I mean, some of the money can go towards advancing in medical treatment. Sometimes money can go towards, funding a trip for children with sickle cell so that they can go away from home from their parents for a week and do the normal stuff like canoeing and abseiling and all the wonderful things that, as a parent with a child with sickle cell, I'm like, hell no, I'm not doing that. No. But if it's an organized trip where my daughter did that last year, where she went with doctors and nurses, and she was able to go away and be herself. And then I was able to have a week to myself as well without worrying, is she okay? Is she safe? So it was good for both of us. It was a great kind of learning curve. So yeah, you can raise money for charity, or even just, the simplest thing I think people can do is, if you hear somebody's got sickle cell, just talk to them and ask them questions, find out about it. See if there's anything that you can do to help them. Like my daughter has to drink a lot of water. The other day she went to school. I walked her halfway to school, and then she met up with a friend of hers, and she was like, I'm going to go with my friend now. I was like, oh, okay. And I said to her friend, Laura, please don't walk too fast if she needs to go. And Maya looked at me like, Mom, stop it. But I just, but that's what you can do to help. If you're walking with somebody, it takes them a little bit longer. So be mindful, don't race ahead, walk at their pace. Ask them, if you're making yourself a drink, ask them, do you want a drink? Because they have to stay hydrated. So yeah, it's just being mindful that somebody around you needs a little extra TLC and helping with that.
Well, you and Maya are an inspiration.
Yes, I've already learned
And
more
I know.
today about sickle
Oh,
minutes
Yeah.
ago. So
And your voice could be a scented candle. I could listen to you talk all day.
I know.
Is it weird to ask if you'll just call and read us storybooks at
Read us
night?
a story.
Yeah.
what are you like?
As you're talking, I'm thinking, man, I could. Just it's so. Well, it's like engrossing and relaxing, and
I know.
so
You just
so
But too much hands. Too much hands.
too much.
Rebecca talks with her hands too.
I
so,
do. I have to sit on them.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So we are so thankful that you took time with us today. You're such an inspiration to us, and your daughter is an inspiration to us. She
That's right.
shows such great perseverance, and I love, not met her, but you just describe her in such a way that I think she would be everybody's best friend. I love the.
Oh,
So
thank you
thank
so
you for
much.
sharing a little bit of her story with us too, and thank you for taking time with us. We know it's a little close to dark over there across the pond than it is here, so we appreciate you taking time to be with us today. You are wonderful,
Oh,
and
thank
we're
you.
going to go watch your other movie that we have not seen
That's
yet.
right. We're gonna find Boxing Day too.
We're going to find Box.
Brilliant. I play a Jamaican auntie in that, so it's
Okay.
completely different.
Completely different.
Awesome.
So
But
thank you.
you so much for having me. You guys are brilliant. Thank you.
I told you you're going to love her, and you're going to go watch Jingle Jangle right now.
Well, what if you don't have Netflix?
Listen, if you don't have Netflix, Scott's going to put our login information in the show notes.
Oh, really? So we're gonna have the Netflix police after us.
Come at me
Okay.
about
I
it.
think that's frowned upon.
Is it illegal?
It may
Don't
be.
answer that. This is incriminating.
Yes.
I think it's time to end.
Yeah. I'm gonna edit this out. You'll never see it.
Go watch Jingle Jangle. It is the best Christmas movie ever. You will fall in love with all the characters in there, but obviously Miss Johnston has her heart.
It's gonna be a new family tradition.
That's right. Merry Christmas from Hardie Party of 5 and a Half. Over and out.
We'll see you next time.